and the president of APAC Authentic Inclusion Association. Today, I know it's a World Baseball campaign, so many of you might watching the baseball game together our webinar. So, but I'd like to share is very important. Our guest, Troy Otillo. Troy is the CEO of Aira Technologies, and he got a very experienced technical leader in over 25 years. And today he will share his idea and his insight about how to provide the service to support human rights and how we can imagine how technology can be used in the future. Let's welcome Troy.
Thank you, everyone. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me. This is my first presentation to an audience like this. I was saying it's a little early here, but I'm thrilled and looking forward to sharing some thoughts, as you mentioned. And my one ask is you'll see my contact information. Would love to follow up with anyone who has questions, who has ideas, who gets inspired from this, and share more about what I've learned in my 10-year journey here at Aira. With that, I'm going to share some slides, but I really want to focus on simply just communicating a little bit about Aira and what we do and where we're going, in hopes again that you get inspired. So with that, here we go. So again, Aira, it's spelled A-I-R-A, but think of the A as silent. And I adapted this presentation to really talk about scalable solutions, focusing on accessibility, aging, and more. Our motto at Aira is access is a human right. We've been focused on supporting people who are blind and low vision and now deaf and hard of hearing. There's my contact information. I also wanted to give a strong shout out to Aira's longtime advisor. Some of you may know Francis West. And again, I think the point here of this presentation is to engage you further. I'm just going to start with a video. This is a video showing a little bit about the Aira service in action. So the audio will come through, and I'm just going to be quiet while we get a look at some of these visuals.
Meet Aira, the leading visual interpreting service for the blind and low vision community. With a simple tap of a button on our mobile app, Aira connects individuals with professionally trained visual interpreters.
Thanks for calling Aira. How can I help you?
And needing some help getting up to the 5th floor.
Elevators are in this bay here.
How to purchase some tickets to go on the subway? Certainly.
I'm looking for a graphic in this textbook for a class.
It's like a diagram. It labels different parts of the brain.
Similar to the sign language service companies like Sorensen, Purple, Convo, and others are providing to the deaf and hard of hearing community, Aira provides visual interpreter services for the blind and low vision community. Visual interpreting offers audio descriptions to guide navigation, tasks, and more. Whether understanding surroundings, navigating, shopping, or simply browsing, users trust Aira in our ever-evolving digital and physical world. It all starts in our app and results in on-demand 24/7 assistance from a trained visual interpreter, ready to provide visual information at any time. Our visual interpreters undergo a rigorous selection process and professional training to assist with a variety of tasks.
The door should be on your left in about 20 minutes.
Top organizations committed to inclusion include industry leaders like Microsoft, Amazon, Starbucks, Bank of America, and Target. Use Aira to provide complimentary access to customers and employees. Using geofencing, Aira ensures secure access to our visual interpreters within a custom selected perimeter, making it seamless and integration-free for all blind and low vision individuals. By joining the Aira Access Network, you'll pay an annual subscription fee covering usage on site of all your locations. The same organizations committed to creating an inclusive workplace partner with Aira to provide visual interpreter services to their employees. Join the Aira Access Network today and provide equal access to information. Aira, because access is a human right.
Okay, well, hopefully you got a sense of what our visual interpretation service does, and maybe your mind is already going to what a service like this, where humans are connected to, or trained professional agents are connected to perhaps seniors or older adults, what kind of assistance or new ways of providing scalable support could be imagined. I think, some key takeaways in this experience, which was developed over 10 years. I'll go into the history of the company, but it's all about removing friction. It's all about providing assistance anytime, anywhere, in under 10 seconds. And so with our service, you download the Aira app. Let's see, I had my smart glasses. Oh yeah, we're also on the Meta Glass. So I'm holding up, if you look at me, I'm wearing the Meta Glass, which allows people to connect to our agents and use the video camera to stream, and then can converse with the agent using the built-in speakers. We also are on the web, but it's all about removing friction and supporting the use cases that are needed, in this case for blind and low vision. Press a button, you connect with the agent, and you get real-time assistance. It seems simple. There's the art of scaling it, which I'll touch on as the talk goes on. The company, you might go, well, how'd you get started? What does Aira even mean? As you're reading here, you can see that when we were founded 10 years ago, and we raised, over the course of the first 4 years, we raised about $38 million. This was before the current period of artificial intelligence. So at that time, the founder and I had the vision that the best solution would be a combination of humans, of professional agents, and AI. We didn't see a world that would be AI only, and we didn't see a world where AI couldn't provide value. But it did take until the last couple of years for AI to really have an impact and be powerful enough to provide additional services. And so Aira connects people in need. You saw the use case for blind and low vision, to professional agents and what we call trusted AI. We've been around 10 years, and in the last 10 years, we've been available 24/7, answering calls within 5 to 10 seconds. We are only in countries, as you can see, that are primarily English speaking, even though we do support French and Spanish. But I'm here to tell you that we are expanding next year. We are in talks with different governments and different organizations throughout the world. Some focus right now in Germany and those locations. But I'm here talking to you all today. So as I mentioned at the top, would love to talk more about how we could collaborate to build services for blind, for deaf, and for elderly. As you can see on the right, the use case we support, as I mentioned, blind, low vision, deaf, and hard of hearing. The use cases that we've heard from customers, from individuals, from organizations, and even governments is, what can you do to support neurodiverse? What can you do to support language? And what can you do to support elderly? And at the very end, I'll show a concept video about support for seniors or the elderly. I do want to emphasize something that I think does separate Aira, and that is, we focus on humans working with humans, augmented with AI. And I think the biggest thing I have learned in the last 10 years, especially being a technologist, where my first instinct is to automate everything, to use software to do everything, and now with AI, there is a not so hidden value of having a human in the loop, having that person or the initial experience or the ongoing experience when providing support to be a human. Because at the end of the day, humans trained humans have the highest touch. They also provide companionship. And with that, it makes for a service that is more engaging and trusted. So when you can think about in your own life, when you know that there's a competent, trained, secure human, agent that you can work with, you're more inclined to use the service, even if some of the services provided through AI, some of the services provided automated. You can read the rest of the slide, but I just wanted to emphasize that a lot of what we've worked on is how to scale human computing, if you will, right? We all talk about cloud computing. We know what that looks like. But behind the covers, Aira is really good at the whole process of selecting, training, and working with agents to make sure they meet the needs of customers. What is visual interpreting? I think you got a sense of it. It is much like the deaf relay service. It's much like a concierge service. I could go on the number of tasks that blind and low vision people interact with, some of which we didn't know when we started. We thought that Aira would be primarily for people navigating, for people with a guide dog or a cane who are trying to get from point A to point B, but they don't know the route, who want additional information while they're shopping. But it turns out navigating is only a portion of what we do. We do a lot of online tasks. About 30% of our calls relate to people who are struggling with a website. We do a lot of reading, some fun ones. During COVID, we actually read over 50,000 COVID results. We read pregnancy tests. We look at financial information. It all comes down to trust and the expertise our agents have and the highly collaborative features that our app has developed over time. And so I think even when we think about older adults and aging gracefully, a service like Aira, where you're connecting people who are older to trained agents, I think we might have an initial hypothesis about what value it could provide, but I guarantee you there'll be more use cases that nobody thought of if you have an on-demand trusted service. We're very proud of this slide. You might say, well, how does Aira make money? Ultimately, we rely on organizations and not listed here are states and governments who pay for the service for their customers, pay for the service for their employees. And as you can see on the bottom, in the last 5 years, we've grown to about 225 of these organizations, and some of the, the biggest blue chip companies, especially in the US, which is a testament to the amount of focus we give to security, data handling, privacy, so that we provide a trusted platform. We just launched, so I'm very excited about this. Our customers came to us and said, hey, we love the service for blind and low vision, but what can you do for deaf and hard of hearing? And in the last month, we launched our service to provide sign language interpreting so that someone who's deaf or someone who's hearing together can have a conversation on demand. And it's intended for spontaneous conversations. And ultimately, this is a service that hasn't existed until now. And we're just getting started. We have a couple of pilots going, but it does show that we have a strength in our overall platform, our ability to find and deploy humans, right? Human computing. It does show our strength and ability to adapt and create applications that are specific to a use case. The ASL app is not the same as the blind and low vision app. It's different, but it all is built on the same platform. Claire, how are we doing on time? I'm going to play this. This will give you a little sense of what the service for deaf and hard of hearing looks like.
Meet Aira, the leading visual interpreting service for the blind and low vision community. We are proud to announce that we are expanding to serve the deaf community through sign language interpreters with Aira ASL. Aira ASL is an app that provides on-demand access to ASL interpreters' services. At the tap of a button, you're instantly connected to a professional ASL interpreter. Using geofencing, Aira ensures secure access to our ASL interpreters within a custom selected perimeter, making it seamless and integration-free for all deaf individuals.
Well, hello, my name is Kevin. I'm deaf and I'm using an interpreter here on my phone, and I'm hoping that you can help me check in and walk through this process.
So do you have any confirmation number or passport?
I think I do.
Seamless communication,
I'll print you a boarding pass.
an interpreter in your pocket.
The doors are about to close. Please stand clear of the doors.
On your phone,
I just flew in and I have a reservation. What are my options?
So we have a variety of car classes. We have full-size vehicles. We have compact SUVs. We also have large SUVs like trucks.
I just flew in today. I'm checking in today. Do you have a room ready for me?
Here we are. Welcome to the Intercontinental.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy your stay. Thank you. That was perfect.
on your terms. Because access is a human right. Aira ASL.
I'm really excited about this one. We just launched it, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback, and it's one of my learnings from working in the space. My whole career up until 10 years ago, which at that point I think I'd been in tech and Silicon Valley and different companies and different startups, had nothing to do with accessibility. And someone who worked for me started Aira, and that's that's how I got started. I got sucked in. I got so excited and interested in what was going on. But one of the hidden benefits of working in this space is the profound impact you can make on people's daily lives, and that's just it's not only inspiring to me, but if you were to talk to the majority of people, well, I guess everyone who works at Aira, and we all work very hard every day. Everyone is motivated by the benefit, and unique to Aira, you can see we've got video content. We're not guessing at what our customers are doing. We can see the experience. So there's some added hidden benefit of the way that we work, in the sense that it's very motivating to the employees and the interpreters and the agents. Anyway, you can tell I'm very excited about ASL. Okay, let's see, next slide.
Meet Aira, the
Okay, so that leads to just a thought exercise on what could a service like Aira, just connecting someone who's older to a professionally trained individual on a secure platform, what could it do? What benefits would it provide? Would it be scalable? It turns out we have done some market research on this, and we have tested the concept, and it is powerful, and it does provide some benefits that are scalable. I think one way to think about it is it's a personal concierge, and the fact that you're connecting with a real human, I think uniquely is valuable to the aging population. There is a big gap often between older adults and technology, right? As we all know, we're trying to keep up with technology all the time. And often this is the social platform that our families are connected on. Yet if we're not confident about the use of our computer, if we're not confident about our skills, we tend to withdraw. And by withdrawing, that leads to other health challenges, right? Like isolation and connection are important, right? Connection is important as a human. And the fact that you start with a human in the Aira process, I think, was shown to be very engaging versus other solutions which are purely software based. And the fact that it's on the go, at home, anytime, also has the benefit. And the use cases that we discovered when working with our test group, varied. It was there was some tech support help, as you'll see. There's other cases where sometimes just setting up appointments or just accessing information on the internet, it can be challenging. And to have a trusted source that you can talk to that's a human turned out to be a big win. And ultimately, many of the test subjects thought they might stay in a home longer, right? At least in the US, where there's, not as much support from families for aging adults. Many folks, older adults, will leave their home and go to a center for seniors, but there's a desire to stay in home longer. But the reason you might go to a supported location is because you need that occasional support, and Aira can solve that. So with that, I'm going to show you what we learned, or a little video that kind of will illustrate what's possible. So here we go.
When I was growing up, we didn't have all the technology that people have today at our fingertips. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have computers. We didn't have texting and all of the different, and some of them I don't even know what the names are that my kids use. And I'd like to be savvy in those, but I'm not. We didn't have them. We didn't have them growing up. This can all be intimidating for someone my age. And if I can't adapt, I'll be missing out. When I heard about Aira, I thought, this is something I can use on a daily basis to help me accomplish these complicated tasks.
Now calling an Aira agent.
Thank you for calling Aira. This is Rihanna. How can I help you?
Hi, I just got a new television and they gave me 2 remotes and I have no idea what to do with them. I don't know which one to start with. Can you help me?
Sure, I can see the 2 remotes there in front of you. Start with the one on the right. So the one that's in your hand, I can see the power button is all the way to the top and over to the left. That's the correct button. Yes, that'll turn that on.
Before Aira, I used to have to call my daughters to ask them to help me with anything on the computer, to pay a bill online, to put pictures on Facebook. But now I feel like I can do things on my own. I have independence that I didn't have before. My eyesight's not as good as it used to be. Could you tell me how much flour to put in these cookies?
I see this recipe calls for 2.5 cups of sifted flour.
I was impressed with how detailed the Aira agents are. I'm not a technologically savvy person, but they made everything easier. I'm baking cookies with my grandsons. Can you take a picture of them for me? It is like I have my own virtual assistant. Aira has given me confidence to tackle some of these intimidating tasks. I don't have to call my daughters for everything now. I can do them on my own. Because of Aira, I have an independence I didn't have before. I can do more.
I want cookies now. I don't know about you guys. I'm gonna have to go bake some cookies now at the end. Well, I think that gave you maybe some food for thought on again what's possible, and it all comes from a platform and an approach that we've built over the last 10 years, and we continue to grow. It all is powered economically by the ability to provide a service that businesses and larger organizations can fund. You may be wondering, well, can an individual purchase an Aira service? We do support that, yet, the reality is that, especially in the case of people with disabilities that are underemployed, their access to, income and their access to money to pay for the service is limited. So we believe access is a human right. And I believe that ultimately the cost should be shared and provided by government, by businesses, which help them grow and achieve their brand goals. I can tell you, maybe on a personal level, we employ people who are deaf, we employ people who are blind and low vision, and that has uniquely changed the company because you get different perspectives. It forces you, as a leader, for me, to think differently and to also realize how powerful the human spirit is, how creative, and the ability to overcome obstacles. You realize that problems aren't as challenging as you initially think. So ultimately, as I said at the start of the talk, my goal is to inspire you to, send an email to either myself or Francis. I would love to talk more, share more. There's a lot I could say about AI. There's a lot more that I could share, but in this brief time, I just wanted to introduce you to Aira. We're very proud of what we've done. We're very excited to be talking to you all today.
Thank you so much, Troy. It's really, really inspiring. And well, before everybody start to ask a question, I have some question on my own, and I want to raise my hands first. Yeah, yeah. Before asking the question, I would say that I really admire your work because every user you just demonstrate their big smile on the face. That is really, really impressed. And I believe that is one of your mission, try to bring the confidence and independence back to their life. They have to be able to control their own life instead of, well, I need to be supported by someone else. There are so many things they can do on their own if with maybe just the minimum technology service. So that is really admired. And also remind me in Taiwan, for now, I can see there are so many banks. They have a banner in front of their door and say, if you need the sign language service, you have to reserve. You have to make the reservation earlier, or you will not be able to be serviced. Yeah, but I feel so sad for those people because how come they just want to do the same thing just like we do? How come they're so difficult for them to have the service we have on the daily basis? That's really, really upset me. So I really admire and appreciate what you've done for those people. Yeah. And back to the questions I have, for the elderly people that you mentioned that they can use the technology as a daily basis. I'm not so familiar, or I'm not sure the situation in US, but in Taiwan, for many of elderly people, they don't have the smartphone. Yeah, they use the traditional mobile phone. So that could be difficult for them to use a service like this. But you got a very good point because many of them try to learn the smartphone. But just like you mentioned, some daughters feel annoyed. They come to ask the question all the time. So they're a service provider on the physical. It's a physical service. If you need someone to show you how to use the phone, they will send someone to your house to help you to know how to use the function of the smartphone or devices. Yeah. So I'm not sure if how can you engage these people to use the technology?
What you didn't see, especially with elderly or older adults, we also learned that using not a smartphone, but a plain old phone and just having someone you can call that is trusted, there's a lot you can do even without the smartphone, even without the camera. And it's through that process that often older adults will get comfortable with then taking the next step. For example, maybe if they have a computer, you can use Aira on the computer, just like we're using Zoom right now. Or we also believe in the future, the smart glass is getting so much easier to use. That may be an easier transition than someone who hasn't used a smartphone. That might be easier way for someone to engage over the internet interactively. And then finally, as a detail, there are some phones, smartphones, if you will, that are kind of in between. There's a phone called Blind Shell. You might look it up, Blind Shell, BLIND. That while the word says blind, it's really designed for individuals who don't want to learn smartphones. So if you look at that phone, it's got buttons. So it looks like an old phone, like an old school. It's got real buttons. It does have a screen, but it's all voice-based as well. So the ability for someone without either the dexterity to use a smartphone or the confidence or skill to like understand the basic concepts can interact with this phone. And Aira is on the blind shell phone as well. So there's multiple ways to leverage a service like Aira beyond the smartphone. Of course, when we start working on it, we will learn more. We like to build with the community, not for the community. So a lot of what we will be doing, and maybe in partnership with someone in the audience, will be determining, what are the best ways to deliver a remote on-demand service.
Thank you so much, Troy. And I'm not sure if there is anyone got a question and want to ask Troy. If you don't, I will let Troy go back to sleep. Yeah, it's really, really, truly appreciated because he wake up at 3 in the morning. And so he shows how he support us in this event. And I would like to truly thank you and invite you to come to Taiwan next time.
Next time, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Claire. It looks like we have a question from our team.
Okay, great.
It says, how does your team ensure knowledge transfer for the human agents between established and newly developing markets for your human agents? For example, when you expand to a different country.
Yes, this is it's a great question. I mean, the answer is multiple. We use part of what we've built over the years is a learning and development training platform, a reinforcement and monitoring platform, and localizing that to a given region or country is more than just adapting, the language, the text. It would look like working with a partner who understands the culture and then adapting how we do this for English speaking, for the US, for the UK, for Australia. So it would be a bit of work, for sure, and it will be a bit of work. But the idea would be to partner with someone who is equipped to connect us with, with the country, with the culture, and so the work would be to then take the training, take everything that we do, and provide a rendition that is appropriate, for the country. So I hope that makes sense. We do use, as everyone does, we're very tech forward, and part of what we've adapted over the last year or two is a lot of generative AI, which is another way to accelerate knowledge transfer, another way for agents who are providing service to, be even smarter than they already are. So, there's I think the ability now to adapt Aira to a different use case, to a different culture, to a different language, is now, the bar's even lower.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much, Troy. We
right,
are
well,
looking forward the next session with you.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Great day. Bye-bye.
Bye. So our next session will start at 8:30. Let's take a brief break.